Hello, and welcome to the Fresh Air Show. What is up, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Fresh Air Show.
Hello.
Yeah, happy Easter, everybody.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, I'm sorry, I might have mixed you up there. You see, there is this guy called Thanos who made me miss out on so much, so I'm just making up for some missed out things.
Yeah. So, how have you guys...
Point two, got you back.
Yeah. So, how have you guys been since the last podcast?
Been alright?
Yeah, good. Seeing many movies.
Yep. Now...
Many.
Yep. Now, you should mute this or skip this if you don't want to know. We really are about to dive into Avengers Endgame. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, please skip to 11:28. Well, we're all back. Thanos is defeated.
Yeah.
Oh, so sad. He was such a great guy.
Yeah.
Such a loving father to his
and now
daughter. Gamora and negative looking
Nebula.
hands.
Yep. Now Thanos is gone and the universe is overpopulated once again.
Yes.
But with great victory comes great sacrifice, and rest in peace, Iron Man. The one who started the entire MCU, and now he's dead.
Yeah.
Making Pepper is now a widow, if you will. Another character that we lost.
Yeah, Black Widow. Reenacting the exact same scene that Gamora went through.
Yep.
So, let's get the big question out of the way. Was it better than Infinity War?
Yeah. In terms of how many characters showed up, yes.
Oh, that scene. The one with all the portals opening, that was top.
Yeah. It was a spectacle. Wasn't it?
Yeah. Funny you should say that, because I am planning on doing a similar scene, because last year, if you remember, I laid off modern-day Doctor Who reactions to focus on other short-lived shows, and I ended it off by reenacting what happened when Thanos snapped half the universe out of existence.
The dusting.
Yeah, and so now, with season 1 of Classic Who almost over for me, yeah, just keep an eye out.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, but sheesh, we lost so many iconic heroes in Endgame. Like, Iron Man's dead, Black Widow's dead, Vision's...
Loki didn't come back.
And Gamora's still missing, Vision's apparently gone for good.
Yeah.
Captain America is gone, technically.
Yeah, a lot of people were unhappy about that, I think.
But, in the comics, Captain America does eventually grow old, and he does pass down the mantle of Captain America to someone else. So,
to Bucky, apparently.
No, to Falcon. In Endgame, that is. So...
I think Captain America got a sweet send-off. Because Captain America the First Avenger was actually the first of these films that I watched. So it kind of closed it off for me in a way, which was quite cool. But I've heard talk that Disney streaming service, when that comes out, is going to have a Loki series.
Could it all possibly be based off that one scene during the time heist where Loki grabs the Tesseract and
Yeah, a
teleports
lot of
away.
people got excited about that part because they were like, "Oh, he might come back," and he didn't.
Yeah, so it must be setting that up, surely. Otherwise, it was a bit random. Unless we're supposed to assume Loki teleported away and gave the Tesseract to Thanos, and then everything came together. Because the whole time travel thing in this is basically all new universes get built around whatever decision you make. There's no going back in time changes history. It's all, it's okay. Everything gets built around you, and everyone else who was the original dies, I guess. I don't know.
A multiverse, if you will.
Yes.
Now, that is an interesting topic that people are bringing up with the MCU's timeline now. Now, in case you're not aware, the team goes back in time to the point where the Infinity Stones were not in Thanos' possession to try and stop him from even arriving. But now, even I struggle to keep up with the timeline.
How does that work?
Yeah, because it's implied that when Loki teleports away, he creates an alternate timeline, and now it's in this movie, for the majority of it, it's past Thanos that's the threat, because he travels back to the future to stop them, because he's apparently Nebula's consciousness can be viewed from different robotic bodies that she possesses. So
yeah, same person, time sort of thing.
Unintentional use of the words "Back to the Future" there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, but yeah, that is sort of building up that because of this, because of these time jumps, it's opened up the multiverse. So,
possibilities.
Yeah, because not only have we now dealt with space and time, now we could be dealing with even crazier effects for the future of the movies. So
there's talk about the quantum realm playing a part as well and stuff like that.
I was surprised about that.
Now, speaking of which, you do realise that this whole entire movie would never have been able to happen if that rat didn't crawl all over Hank Pym's control panel and release Ant-Man from the quantum realm.
Yeah,
Ratman, the real hero.
Yeah, I've heard the joke that it's Master Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Saving the world.
Yeah. Now, as much as I am excited at the possibility of the multiverse opening up for the MCU, because they're bringing this up in Spider-Man Far From Home, because in it, Nick Fury is saying that, after the snap, the multiverse has opened up, and we see different elemental monsters appearing, but this is just a little theory, based on that movie's villain, Mysterio. You see, Mysterio, his powers, he uses special effects and hallucinogenic gases to trick his enemies into thinking that he's more dangerous than he actually is. And what I think he's doing, he's creating fake monsters and beating them up, like what Syndrome does in The Incredibles. He's just making fake monsters and profiting from it.
That's actually what I thought when watching the trailer too, because he's like, "Oh no, you don't know what you're in for." Starts fighting him and making out he's like the hero, and then eventually it's going to be like, "I have been the villain all along."
Yeah, but as much as
excited for that.
Yeah, as much as I think that's going to happen, I'm still pretty excited at the possibilities, because now we can get even more crazier characters. Who knows? Maybe the cast of Spider-Verse could show up at some point.
Oh, that would be amazing. Not even with actors, just their animated selves.
Yeah, I mean, they're already hinting at Spider-Man Noir's costume showing up in Far From Home, so who knows?
But there's talk of Galactus, and there's also talk. Do you remember the post-credit scene of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where the woman goes, "I shall name him Adam."
Hmm.
Apparently,
Yeah, I was hoping that would play a part in Infinity War because I've watched the game theory video about that.
yeah, exactly. Because apparently, I think he's meant to play a part in the comics when helping with Thanos. I thought I heard somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So now it seems like it was setting up Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, at one point, Adam actually wielded the Soul Stone, so there's that.
So yeah.
So does that mean he could have the ability to bring back Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 then?
Possibly.
I think that's what they're
If he
leading up
managed
to.
to get his hands on the Soul Stone, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what they're leading up to because at the end of Endgame, Thor starts to travel with the Guardians, who are going to try and find Gamora potentially because apparently she's still missing. But hey, now that we've got James Gunn back at Disney, then they can get started on it.
Well, what's interesting about this is Guardians of the Galaxy was phenomenal. Thor Ragnarok was phenomenal. But now you're putting Thor and the Guardians together. That could either be too much of a good thing and it would be repetitive, or they could do something awesome with it. I'm hoping it will be awesome.
Or it could be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
So yeah, Dudley, you recently saw Detective Pikachu. So,
yes.
What's your thoughts?
Well, to be totally honest, I'm probably going to have to do a review video on it to do my whole thoughts on the thing, but it kind of blew my mind because I was actually there trying to decide whether it was good or not. And after much consideration...
Sonic will talk about you later, I promise you that.
Yep, Sonic, we're talking about the good live-action movie. Get out of here for a second.
Yeah. Carry on.
So, yeah, it blew my mind, because having watched Pokemon from a very young age, and they finally brought out a live-action movie, God, people have got to go and see it. I recommend it. It is very good. I think I've heard talk, there are going to be more, and I want there to be. I have to admit, today I went with my brother to see it a second time to get my proper thoughts on it, and yeah, it's good. The Pokemon look real, Pikachu looks great, Mr. Mime isn't creepy, and yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'll be seeing it this Saturday, but here's the reason why I was willing to give it a shot. Because they took the risk of directly translating their in-game and in-anime designs and straight up putting them in live action. Now, aside from some Pokemon having a slight few differences, like Charizard looking a bit slimmer and a lot of them having unique designs, like you should come to expect that because Pikachu is a furry little mammal Pokemon, and obviously, he has fur and he moves like a mammal, so that's pretty easy to do. However, some Pokemon that show up in the movie, like Loudred, he's basically his design.
More skin.
Yeah, his design in game, you sort of forget. It's an in-game creature. I shouldn't worry too much about what his live-action version looks like, but when it comes to Loudred in live-action, he's basically, like, he has, like, the mouth of a hippo, but, well, the teeth of a hippo, and he has, like, skin, like, sort of almost human-like skin, and it does... At first, I did find it a little bit bizarre, yeah, but yet again, that's what these Pokemon are at the very beginning. They are meant to be bizarre, but unique in their own sense.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of things here and there. Obviously, I'm not going to go into spoilers about the film, but you see stuff like there's Sneasel, but instead of its claws looking thin and sharp, they look quite big. and bulky, and some things like that. And then you see, I mean, there's going to be minor differences, aren't there? Like Pikachu has that bright, creamy sort of belly, like he did back in Pokemon Yellow, but we all know Pikachu to be completely yellow. You could notice a lot of things about it. I guess I have to say something about it that isn't really a spoiler because you kind of get used to it as the film progresses. But when you've seen the show or movies, when they talk to Pokemon, have you always thought the Pokemon understand English?
I guess I sort of classified it as dog or pet language. Like they can sort of tell how a human is feeling, like with the expression on their face, and they sort of slightly mind read what the human's thinking, like do this, do that, come here, you know.
That's very interesting. See, I've always found it the way, like in the anime, if Ash says like something embarrassing, then Pikachu will like facepalm or something. So clearly, you have to think, oh, Pikachu must have understood what Ash just said. But it's a big debate amongst fans.
Yeah, I think Pokemon in general will be marginally more intelligent than creatures in our sort of universe.
Well, they are pocket monsters, so yeah, there's something.
There are those old Pokedex entries where some say this Pokemon is capable of understanding human speech, and then you think, does that mean the others aren't? I don't know. So things like that.
You're listening to The Fresh Air Show. Now, in terms of adapting movies into live action, one of them...
Wait, make sure he's not here first before we start talking about it.
Yeah. He's not in the studio, so okay. One of those movies coming out this year has gotten the internet really angry. Ladies and gentlemen, the live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Dan, make sure you have like the image of that movie sort of flashing in and out just as I do that.
I'll try and do that.
Alright.
Now, here's the thing. Dudley, you'll know about Sonic more than I do. Does Sonic interact with humans?
It's dependent on which Sonic. See, the thing is, there are good points about this trailer, and there are iffy things about this trailer. So let me go with. Yeah, well, watching this trailer, I thought, okay, I'll go in open-minded. So first things first, a lot of people seem to be leaning towards this. A lot of people seem to be happy that Jim Carrey's in it because they always. Yeah. He's funny and stuff.
Yeah. He's good for Dr. Eggman.
It's Jim Carrey as Robotnik, so plus he kind of does have the look mastered, so I'm willing to give Jim Carrey a chance.
Yeah. And then it's also like one of them celebrity choice of these live action films, but right at the end of the trailer you see him looking like Robotnik, like in the outfit, right? But the thing about that ending scene is if you look in the background there's loads of mushrooms, so I think from this trailer I could probably gather what happens in the film. So in the trailer you see Sonic runs and then all this electrical surge cuts the power. What I think is Robotnik caused that surge to drain electricity to build his stuff, and by chance Sonic came through a warp zone from Mobius, which is a different planet, because of that incident. So Robotnik wants to capture it to find out more about it and harness this electrical power that for some reason Sonic has, which hasn't been seen before. So a fight ensues, and the fight leads them to shoot through back onto Mobius, including Robotnik. And that scene with Robotnik at the end putting his goggles on is going to be right before the credits roll.
Now, yeah, you see, the reason why I brought up if he interacts with humans is because no matter what game you play in terms of Pokemon, aside from a select few, Pokemon exist in a human world. So
Yeah.
So it was easy to translate their designs into live action because they already live in a world of humans. But from what I can see with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, they're making it uh, and this is just my opinion, but it seems to me like they're building up that Sonic is just like a supernatural creature that just so happens to share our world. It's kind of like this, which is pretty tricky to translate into live action because, for instance, you know that Woody the Woodpecker movie that came out a few years ago?
Yeah, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Where did this creature come from? Like, how does he live in a world of humans? In the cartoons, they don't explain that, but we don't care. We just want to see.
Because it's cartoon logic.
Yeah, we just want to see this goofy-looking woodpecker do funny stuff. But when you put it in live action, like,
You're kind of expected to explain the existence of humans in a cartoon setting.
Yeah.
Well,
And another.
They have done. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but the number one reason that a lot of people are talking about is definitely Sonic's design.
That's the one thing about the trailer I was iffy about, and if that's the thing I'm iffy about, that's a big problem.
Yeah, because
Hideous.
Ready Player One, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Two movies that came out last year, and they nailed Sonic's design perfectly. But this...
Yeah, they just had him in cartoon CG, didn't he?
Yeah, but this, coming from Sega themselves... He looks like a crack-headed Tom from Tom and Jerry.
You have to excuse my bias, but in the YouTube comments before Detective Pikachu came out, people were already saying, "Oh, why can't this film be more like Detective Pikachu?" And in interviews, like the guy who directed Detective Pikachu heard about the Sonic incident, and he was saying he's feeling bad for them that they have to go and redesign Sonic because that's a difficult task, whereas they spent a year trying to get the Pokemon looking as good as possible. And when you look at Pikachu, I mean, you know, they did a pretty damn good job, didn't they? Wouldn't you agree? So, but another thing that the problem with this is, you've got live-action Yogi Bear, live-action Smurfs, live-action... Well, I guess the Woody the Woodpecker was, I don't know. And what do they all have in common? Let's throw them in the middle of New York and see what hijinks ensue. Also, not to insult it too much, but that Disney musical film where they come out of an animated Disney world and they end up
Enchanted?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, similar case. So I thought, Sony and Sega are working on the Sonic movie, so if they can't get it right, then who can? But now Sony haven't done it. They've moved it over to Paramount, and what have they done? They've put Sonic in the middle of this, in the human world. But from the trailer, based on that little mushroom scene at the end of Robotnik, it looks like Sonic's ended up in our world. And I'm happy to accept that because Sonic X starts that way as well, the anime.
Yeah, and I actually liked that cartoon.
Yeah, they handled that really well. But it's later on in the series, Eggman realizes he must have come from Earth. It's not, he was on Earth and Sonic meets him there. Eggman's already on Mobius. But they still handled Sonic existing in the human world very well. Like, I still recommend that because that show's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it shows the reactions of the people really well, like realizing Sonic exists and the reactions of the people around.
Yeah, like Sonic's shooting past and the guy sees the speed on the speedometer in the trailer for this film is something that would be like that. But there is a funny bit in the anime where they go, "Come here, Sonic, come on," and they try to feed him cat food, and that's just funny because it's funny, you know.
You know, something you brought up earlier, Dudley. Yeah, the fan backlash about Sonic's design got so bad that Sega has now announced that they're that they're pulling the movie and reanimating the scenes with Sonic to make it more like what the fans want.
Well, redesigning, I'd say, is the better word.
Yeah. Now, it's kind of... I guess it's kind of easy to do that, because really all they need to do is just to fix the CG scenes. Like, the live-action scenes, if they can pull it off, should be fine, but when it comes to reanimating Sonic frame by frame, then... Jeez, that's going to take much longer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless there were... I thought about that, but then I had another little fear. What if that won't be so hard to do because Sonic isn't on screen a lot in the movie? Like, what if it has too much focus on the humans and their jokes and things? I mean, if it's Jim Carrey as Robotnik, then fine. But if there's that side character who's with Sonic, like, how much focus are we going to get on him? And maybe he has a family, and we'll see what that's all about. And,
wait a minute. That's the same guy from Hop. He's the live-action lead in Hop. He's doing this all again. He's interacting with another supernatural furry creature.
It's the same shot. They're both in a car. Hop sat in the left seat, and the other guy's in the driver's seat. And now Sonic's there, and this guy's in the driver's seat. It's
the funny thing is, in Hop, he's just sort of casually conversing with the little furry thing. In the Sonic trailer, he looks terrified.
Except for that bit when they're in the car and they're just generally conversing.
In Hop, yeah.
No, in the Sonic trailer, there's a scene just like that, and you can see a robot following him on the road in the background.
Now, as much as I dislike the trailer, there are some scenes that I did enjoy. Robotnik being played by Jim Carrey, but there's also another joke where the main guy is trying to sneak Sonic into a building in, like, this sort of duffel bag, and he's surrounded by other people, and they're like, is that a child in there? No, well, yeah, but it's not mine. And they just slowly back off, like, you know, it's just a bit of dark humor that, you know...
Oh yes, there's a child in this bag, it's not mine though. Okay, have a good day.
Yeah, it just feels like one of them forced silly jokes in the trailer. Like, if you want to do it right, take a leaf out of Ant-Man's book and say, that's a messed up looking dog when the ant goes past, you know that they're taking the mick out of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Things, you know.
Well, whether it will do well, it all comes down to the fans, and we all know what the fans are like towards Sonic media. Like, more nostalgia, more change, less nostalgia, less change, until eventually it just comes down to, I hate Sonic the Hedgehog. Not that I do, I just recognize him as a gaming icon, but that's what I hear online.
Well, he has his moments, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, when I saw it, I was thinking, if I was directing a Sonic movie, how would I do it? And though this is probably not what I do, I thought it still sounded better. Like, imagine if it was like a Mad Max movie where Sonic is running through the whole movie and Eggman's throwing robots at him left and right and he's smashing robots up. Like, wouldn't that be eye candy? Like, wouldn't that be cool? Just to see him live action robots getting smashed up.
Yeah, it does sound cool, but well, we'll just have to wait and see.
You are listening to the Fresh Air Show.
Well, it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the month's most ridiculous headlines. Alright. In this month's news, a group of priests have burned Twilight and Harry Potter books because they apparently go against the word of God.
Twilight I can understand. Harry Potter not so much.
So the first thing I thought when you said that was them burning Twilight Sparkle at the stake for some reason. I thought
Oh, God. Why?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to that group of priests, the reason it doesn't go with the word of God is because it's not your world. These are fictional. These are entirely new worlds where your rules don't apply.
Yeah, well, there are some.
For a moment, when you said Twilight, I thought it was like them doing the Lord's work in a way.
I still haven't seen Twilight, but I mean.
No.
Okay.
I've never even seen them, and I know to avoid them.
Yeah.
I think we might have got into this in the last podcast. I'm not sure if we did, but there are like some religions who are against them showing animals like dressed in clothes being anthropomorphic and things like that. You know, like, oh, those animals from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Oh, they shouldn't do that. So they're completely against it. Like, no, that's wrong. It's an insult to life. You shouldn't do stuff like that. I don't believe in that. But, you know, but
Yeah.
well, it's fiction.
Now, this is a bit of a life lesson to the people of the world. Unity comes before religion. No matter what your rules are, as long as we all band together, no matter the cause, then we'll get along just fine. Alright. Okay, here's the next headline. A dad, tired of fetching drinks for his gaming son, buys him, like those rabbit water bottles?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones where you, like, attach it to the hut and it just, and it has that little metal prod where you could just, you know. Now,
Oh, dude.
kids these days, how lazy do they need to be?
I know, right?
God. Have you seen those really old Nintendo accessories where there's like this little plastic rectangle, and what you do is you'd stick an NES controller inside it, so instead of having to hold the NES controller yourself, you're there like that with your fingers.
Like a keyboard.
Yeah, basically, but with 3 buttons on it.
Jeez.
Like, how lazy can you be? Like, people bought them. You know, they sold it and stuff. It was just like...
This is like this. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a product they sold in the future, like like a keyboard that can manage everything in the house. Like, oh, the heating's going on. Click. Oh, that's better. I
need to turn off that light.
Yeah.
Like,
click.
I didn't even have to get up.
Just
Yeah.
Disney's Pixar Wall-E was right all along.
Oh, jeez. There's even a store in our area called B&M. That's one letter short from by and large.
Oh, no.
So now, oh god, like imagine if this dad continues giving like his son more lazy pet products. Yeah, because he's already had that rabbit water bottle installed in his room. Like, what do you think he's gonna install next?
I think he'll give him a bowl with carrots in it, put a cage around him, and then eventually that kid will turn into what Sonic looks like in this trailer.
Oh god, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the outcome of that kid.
Sonic origin story.
Oh god, it's all making sense now. Alright. Okay, and here's the next headline that I have. It's a short one, but here we go. A crow with a Yorkshire accent has asked a woman, "You alright, love?" Yeah, that happened.
Question, is that woman from Disney?
No, it's just an average, everyday woman, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was their next Disney princess.
I want to know what the crow's heritage was, like, or what backstory he has. Like, did he go to college first, or to get his Yorkshire accent, or was he born in Yorkshire, or has he come from a different country?
Well,
or was it a parrot who was like covered in soot and she thought it was a crow or something?
Well, you see, crows are surprisingly intelligent, and they do have the ability to mimic human speech, and which has just reminded me of this one incident in my high school science class.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if I brought this up before, but basically, it was a winter's day, and we were at these desks near the window, looking through microscopes,
Uh-huh.
and I was looking through the microscope at whatever we were doing, and from beside me, I see the two girls next to me are laughing at something outside, and I'm like, what are you doing? Aren't we meant to be working? And they sort of pointed out the window, and like, what is going on? And bear in mind, my old high school used to be on like a sort of grassy knoll or a hill, so.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked outside, and yeah, it was there was a thick layer of snow, and there were these three crows, uh, hopping along in the snow, and uh, they were just rolling down the hill. Like they would just like roll once, like wait, and just like either they were
For the
having
heck of it.
either they were having fun or were cleaning themselves, but either way, we found it hilarious.
But, I recommend, if anyone hasn't seen it, looking up what a lyrebird does. Because, like, I think David Attenborough showed it, and it can mimic any sounds. Like, it did a chainsaw, it did a mobile phone. And to be fair, I think I might have just learned that crows can speak or copy those sounds, because I wasn't actually sure. I didn't know. So,
Yeah. Yeah. A lyrebird. Like, imagine keeping one of those as a pet. Imagine the pranks.
yes. And then you get a cheetah, and then the hell breaks loose, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, those are the month's headlines. Like, so yeah, keep an eye out for hyper intelligent crows.
Mm-hmm. From all over the world.
Yeah.
Yes, not just Yorkshire.
Now, a crow. I've lived around crows all my life. I've never ever heard a crow mimicking human speech, and I think it's because of where they are. Like, if you've got a flock of wild crows, like they're just gonna copy each other's sounds. You know, oh, this guy's squawking. I better squawk as well. Ah! Ah! But when you're in a heavily populated area with humans, you know, I guess you're bound to pick up on some words.
Phrases.
It's like if you travel to a different country and you end up learning, oh, buenos dias means good morning or something, you know? So, yeah. Animals are getting smarter.
Yeah. I had some work experience at a pet shop once. And I think I was tidying up something, and I heard and I thought, did a member of staff just call me? And then I went over around a corner, and it was the parrot. and I was like, you tease, because I should have remembered about the parrot.
Yeah.
Those darn parrots.
Yes.
You know, it's almost otherworldly how, you know, animals can sort of mimic each other's voices. Like, there was even an instant where a parrot solved a murder case. Because apparently the story went, like, there was this woman who secretly murdered her husband or boyfriend, and the husband owned a parrot, and nobody knew who the killer was until the parrot started repeating the phrase, "Don't bloody shoot!"
God.
And yeah, eventually that woman was found and sentenced to life in prison. Yeah, so, you know...
Snitched by the pet.
Yeah, you know your life's hit rock bottom when a parrot lands you in jail.
Yeah.
And then after she got in jail, the parrot went back to watching television shows that said, "Don't shoot!"
Oh, God. Oh, I don't... Oh, that's a real story that happened. I don't want to poke fun at that, but jeez. If that was the case, then good grief.
Yikes.
I guess on the subject of parrots, are we seeing Aladdin in a couple of weeks, guys?
Yeah.
I am. I am conflicted about it because growing up, Aladdin was one of my favorite Disney movies, and seeing the trailers, like some of it has me really excited, like Aladdin's actor doing parkour throughout the streets, and but there are some things I'm just not warming up to. Like for instance, the actor playing Jafar, like in the original, Jafar, he was creepy. He had like this eerily calm voice, like "You are late," and
Yeah, it sounded deeper.
yeah. And now in the trailers, it's like, "Bring me the lamp. The rest of the treasure is yours."
Oh god,
That's
that
not.
was good.
That's just not the Jafar I grew up with.
He was tall and menacing. No.
Well, I'm willing to give him a chance because one, it's Jafar, and two, we've barely seen any screen time from him in these trailers, so he better do some awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Or I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were originally complaining about Will Smith playing Genie.
But they've slowly warmed up, haven't they?
Yeah, because when you think back to the original, it's Genie was basically just Robin Williams improvising.
He's blue and given magic.
Yeah, you give him a line, Robin Williams would alter it and reference something. And now
Robin Williams proceeds to act like Robin Williams.
Yeah, and when it comes to Will Smith, he is sort of a fourth wall sort of breaking character. Like he's sort of sarcastic, and he has like that sort of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air dancey sort of attitude. Like one joke that kind of got me to warm up to him was when Aladdin says, "Can you make me a prince?" and Will Smith's Genie says, "There's a lot of gray area in make me a prince. I can just make you a prince," and one appears. You haven't seen my palace? Jinx. So yeah.
I remember in those old like Disney cartoons where someone would make a wish and be like, "I want $1,000," and then there's a stampede of reindeer that go over him or something like that.
Yeah, Animaniacs.
Yeah, that amongst others. That's true. Yeah, it was that. Yeah. Wacko's Wish. That's great. Good.
Yeah.
Animaniacs.
Actually, I did see a funny video, an image recently, how they were complaining about how bad Sonic looks, but they edited it over Will Smith's Genie.
Oh my god.
And I was like, oh god, it's this all over again.
Oh god. Oh, it's the ultimate trifecta.
What's been your favourite live-action Disney remake so far?
My favourite live-action one. Well, I've wanted to see.
I think there's been a good 7. I think we've got Snow White. I think there's Cinderella, Maleficent, The Jungle Book.
Yeah. Now,
I'm gonna have to see The Jungle Book on this one.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, The Jungle Book. Yeah, it's so surprisingly decent, and if anything, it's kind of. I'm not saying it's better than the original, but it's out there. Apparently, Nostalgia Critic doesn't agree because he's more of a fan of the original book that The Jungle Book is based on. Like he's still waiting for the perfect still waiting for the perfect Jungle Book movie. Now, I really want to know his thoughts on the Netflix original Jungle Book movie just titled Mowgli. That's been directed by Andy Serkis, surprisingly.
Yeah, there've been a lot of live-action Jungle Books over the years, so I just add Mowgli and the Disney one into the roster. And there's also the animated Chuck Jones one, which Nostalgia Critic talks about, wishing it was more like that, doesn't he? And I recommend going to see those because they're pretty good. But Jungle Book, maybe, well, it seems like it's our favourite at the moment. Whether
Yeah.
The Lion King's going to overtake that because it's the same director is going to be...
I don't think it
Interesting.
translates as well.
What, the live-action Lion King? You don't think it translates well?
Mostly because animals have more limited facial expressions and such, whereas cartoons don't. So,
Well,
like when that scene where Mufasa dies and Simba's reacting to it in the cartoon, you can see like the despair on his face as he realizes, "Oh God, my dad's dead, and it's my fault." Whereas in the live-action one, it's just like cat face.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how they convey emotion
well,
with this
Yeah.
one.
let's just hope they take some advice from Andy Serkis's book. Now, for those of you who don't know, Andy Serkis, he's a wizard at motion capture. Like, you've practically never seen his face in live action unless you see him as Ulysses Claw in the MCU. But for those of you who don't know, he's the one who plays Gollum. He's the one who he's the one who plays Caesar in the modern day Planet of the Apes trilogy. And for him to work on an entire motion capture Jungle Book is actually quite an interesting project I expect from him. Now, because all the animals are motion capture, like, you have, like, an image of someone's face and compared to an image of, say, a wolf. And he looks for just the right combination of the two so that you believe this animal is there, but he captures all the emotion. So chances are things can only go up from there as long as Andy Serkis is there to help them.
They did that with Ryan Reynolds and Pikachu as well, actually, which I didn't know. I thought they just animated a Pikachu.
Well, Ryan Reynolds talked.
Ryan Reynolds, one of the best actors of our time. Like, he plays Deadpool, he plays Pikachu, and at one point he sang. He was dressed as a unicorn singing "Tomorrow" from Annie. Trust me, it's out there. I can put it on screen.
Well, I'll be checking that out tonight.
Yeah. Well, I think that's enough footage for this month, guys. So, anything you want to close out with?
I get nothing.
I'll just say, I know we've talked about a lot of the same things in this podcast on the last one, as well as some new headlines, but I'd still recommend checking out the shows and films that we've mentioned because they're good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I'll see you guys after my reactions to Detective Pikachu and whatever else in terms of summer blockbusters. So, we'll see you guys next time. It's time to say goodbye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
See ya. You have been listening to The Fresh Air Show. Leave a comment down below or email Fresh Powder. See you next month for a whole new slew of content. I'm talking really fast right now because it's what they do at the end of the radio shows.